I'm trying to organise my phone. Let's have a all right. Doesn't look like I've got any viewers. I'm hoping that you can hear me all right. I usually use a microphone, and because I'm using YouTube instead of StreamYard, so I'm using my phone rather than my webcam today. I just thought I would try it. But it means that I can't use my microphone because it plugs into the charging port on my phone. So we'll see how the sound comes out on this. It should be okay. I think the microphone on my phone's pretty good, so we will see. So it's telling me I'm live. There's nobody on at the moment. I'm just going to have a look on my computer and see what I can see there. Let's have a look. Oh, so there are people here. Okay, I was having a look at my computer to see what I could see. I was just saying I'm using my phone rather than my webcam, and I'm streaming directly through YouTube today, rather than I usually use StreamYard. I thought I would try it and see how I go. I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. I don't actually know how to see the chat in here, so this is all a little bit of an experiment. I'll just open it up on my computer and see if I can see the live chat. Let's have a look. Use. I don't know where to see the chat. I had this problem with StreamYard when I first used it too. Oh, here we go. Live chat. All right, I think I can see it. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? It looks like I've got one person on here watching. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. All right, so I'm just going to get started. I think I need to go and actually speak to a friend. So I'm going to try to not make this live too long. All right, so happy Monday. It is Monday, eh? God, it seems like the days are just kind of flying, and there's a lot going on for this month in September, which I kind of knew there would be. Oh, I can see the chat at the bottom of my phone. Oh, sweet. There you go. Hi. Hi. Thank you. All right. So, what a month, eh? So, the whole Charlie. Who's watching Candace Owens? Who's watching Candace at the moment? Oh my God, with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, I'm a bit obsessed with all of that, and I love Candace and her work, and I think a lot of the world's watching her, and she is okay. So where are you from? I'm from New Zealand. Are you talking to me? I'm from New Zealand. All right, I live in New Zealand. I'm actually not from New Zealand, but I live in New Zealand. Watching from Iraq. Oh, this is cool that I can see the chat on here. All right, so yeah, if you're not watching Candace, go and watch her, because it's really interesting what she's uncovering about this whole Charlie Kirk shooting. Anyway, the astrology, I knew that the astrology side of things this month was going to be interesting, because there's so much in the astrology. I'm not really up on the astrology, but I do pay attention, and I'm paying more and more attention, and it was kind of indicating that there was a lot going to happen in September. And so, yeah, very interesting. Now, today I am giving an update. This is the main purpose of this, is to give an update on what's happening with my weight loss. So if you've been following along, I've changed things up over the last month. So since the 1st of September, trying a lower fat version of the carnivore diet, and I am having some mixed results. The first week was really good. It was really good. I dropped a lot of weight the second week, and this week not so much. And so this week I decided to actually incorporate an egg fast for 3 days. So the last time I did an egg fast, I did it for 3 days, and I got fantastic results. I dropped about 2 or 3 kilos in 3 days. this time that hasn't happened. And I thought, because I'm still just above 90 kilos, and this whole time on carnivore, I haven't been below 90 kilos for probably 9 years. And my weight just keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It'll get down to 90.9 had been the lowest prior to this. And then yesterday it was down to 90.8. And I'm figuring that if I can break through that 90 kilo mark, that it'll make a difference, because from my understanding, I've done the HCG diet quite a few times in the past, years ago, and they talk in the HCG diet about set points. So set points are weights where your body has been at that level quite for quite a long time in the past. And so sometimes when we're dropping weight, it'll get to that point and it kind of thinks of it as as a safety kind of area, or somewhere where it's been before and it just wants to stay there. And so I'm wondering if that's what's going on with this whole 90 kilo thing, or whether it's just what's going on in my head, because our head has a massive influence on things as well. So I thought, well, if I do this egg fast for 3 days, then that should take me down under the 90 kilo mark. No, it hasn't. The first day of the egg fast, I didn't drop any weight, which really surprised me, because the last time it worked really well and really quickly. The second day, so yesterday, I was down 450 grams, so just about half a kilo. And then today, that went back up again. So overall, over the 3 days, I am down like 5 grams in 3 days. But I'm suspecting that it's the lower weight that was yesterday is probably where I am. It's just fluid or whatever that's gone back up again for whatever reason. So but it's got me a little bit confused. I'm thinking, why did it not work this time? And it works really well for a lot of people. I don't know whether it's because I was having less fat prior. So last time I did the egg diet thing, I had been really focusing on ketosis and really monitoring my ketones and everything and having high fat. So I'm wondering if that's why it worked better the last time I did it versus this time, where I've been eating kind of higher protein and lower fat. So it might just be where my body was at when I started. I don't know. So, but it's really frustrating, because I really want to break through that 90 kilos. So what I'm going to do this week is so today I'm going to eat normally, tomorrow I'm going to eat normally, and then I'm going to fast, hopefully until Friday. So about 72 hours is what I'm aiming for. I haven't done a 72-hour fast for quite a while. I did a few early in the piece on my carnivore journey when I was doing all the Bella's steak and butter gang stuff and everything. Feasting and fasting. So I will aim for that. If I get to 48 and feel like I need to break it, I'll break it, and then I'll aim for the 72 next week. But if I can go through to the 72, I'll do that at the end of this week. So that'll be from Tuesday night through to Friday night is my plan with that, and we'll see how that goes, and hopefully I can break through that 90 kilo level on the scales and get things actually moving with a bit of luck. So what else? So I've got some notes here. So in the 3 weeks that I've been experimenting, I'm down 2.8 kilos. So that's just over 6 pounds in 3 weeks. So I guess that's okay. It's heading in the right general direction, but it's just the first week was so good that I was like, yeah, I've got it sussed, and then it just all slowed down again. So we'll see what happens. But as I said, I'm going to keep experimenting going forward. I will do another insulin test, because this is about reducing my insulin as well. I'll do another insulin test probably on the 30th of this month, all going well. So that's a Monday. So hopefully I should be able to get down there and get that done and see if my insulin level has actually dropped. I've also ordered a new ketone monitor and some keto strips, because I found a brand that's cheaper to use. So the ketone monitor that I have, the strips are costing me $2.50 each, which is just crazy. This one I can buy them in bulk, and I've just got a message from a friend. All right, so it's the problem with doing these on your phone. I can buy them in bulk, and it brings them down to about $1 each or something. So that should be arriving, I don't know, it's coming from, I think it's coming from China. Is it coming from China? No, it's coming here in New Zealand, so I'll be here in the next few days. That's right, I looked at some in China, but yeah, no. That way I can monitor my ketones. I was actually I was watching stuff about AI yesterday, which was really interesting. And I use AI a little bit with my videos, and I'm starting to use it a little bit more just as a tool. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but it's quite useful for some things. And there's a lot more to it than I think most of us kind of realise. And I was watching somebody yesterday who was talking about how he had built an app for his YouTube videos on a AI platform. I think it was on the Google one, and I think he had some help from somebody, but he's built this thing that works really well for him. And I had this thought. I thought, I wonder if I can get AI to create something where I can plug in all my metrics, so my ketones and my blood glucose and my weight and what I'm eating, my protein to fat ratios, and then over time have it adjust things and tell me what to do to create the change. So I had a bit of a play with that yesterday, but I thought I've got to get some ketone strips and glucose strips so that I can do that, because it was telling me I needed to put in 7 days worth of data to start with. So I thought that could be interesting. I'm going to have a play with that when my ketone strips arrive, and so I will update on that and let you know how it goes, because the AI has access to so much information. I mean, that's what it's for, and it's really fast at compiling things. So I was watching a video by Ian Carroll. So Ian, if you don't know who Ian Carroll is, he's a conspiracy theorist. He was looking after Candace Owens' channel when she was having her baby, and he's quite good at what he does. And one of his videos came up on my feed yesterday, and he was talking about AI. So I was on a bit of an AI binge yesterday, and he was talking about how he uses that instead of Google now at the moment to do his research, because Google, as we know, is very controlled, and they just show you what they want to show you in the search results. And that's something I've known for a long time, because I've been doing websites and things online for since 2009 basically, and it used to be quite easy to rank things in Google, and then they kept making these updates, and they gradually pushed out all of a lot of the websites, that small websites, about health and natural health and healing and those sorts of things. They've gradually kind of sifted them out. And so now if you do a search on a lot of these things on Google, all you get are the mainstream sites, or sites that are controlled that look like they're maybe not mainstream. And so it's really hard. It's much harder. You've really got to filter through the results to find the information that you want on Google these days. The AI that comes up at the top is a little bit better, sort of, maybe. It's collating information from a lot of different places, but there are other AI things that we can use. And so he was using something called Claude to go through thousands of emails that have been leaked, to do with the whole Epstein thing and stuff. And so that was quite interesting what he was saying on there about how that all works. So at the moment AI can be quite a good tool, and I'm wondering whether it can help to point me in the right direction with my insulin and my weight. And because, as I've said before, Candy and Tom Frazier, who have Primal Bod, she has mentioned a ideal ketone to glucose ratio that she has her girls get into to drop weight. And so I'm wondering if AI can find what that is, or tell me what mine is, so that I can aim for that and try to keep my ketones and glucose in that ratio, because it's not necessarily that more ketones is better. So going into that really high ketosis isn't necessarily the best way to go, from my understanding. So finding the right spot, that right ratio where your body actually is using some glucose and some ketones and burning through your body fat, is kind of where we want to be. And I think for some people, obviously for some people, that's a lot easier. For someone like me, it's not that easy. It's just, yeah. And my 3-day egg fast that I've just done is proof of that. It's like 3 days on just eggs, and I have maybe dropped 450 grams. That's just crazy. It blew my mind. I was really disappointed. Yes, I live in New Zealand. Do I have type 1 diabetes? No, I don't have type 1 diabetes. I have my fasting insulin is still too high. I've been 3 years with almost no carbs, and my insulin is still way too high, and my what's the thing called, HOMA-IR is way too high, and is suggesting that I am pre-diabetic. So my HOMA-IR was 4.16 when I was tested about a month ago. And so yeah, trying to hi I've put my glasses on to read the comments because it's really little on my phone. So my HOMA-IR is way too high, so I'm trying to get that down. And so I'm experimenting to see what I need to do with my body to get it down, because for a lot of people, do I live in Auckland? No, I live in the Waikato. For a lot of people, I can read that but without my glasses, so my eyesight's not that bad. A lot of people just go into carnivore and they drop weight. But some women, especially women my age, postmenopausal, they really struggle and they don't lose. Some people gain. For me, I've had 3 years where I've dropped a bit of weight. My clothing size has gone down. So I have had a lot of body recomposition. I've had a lot of healing. But I have still got probably, I don't know what my ideal weight would be. I don't know that I've ever actually been there. And because of the recomposition and because of the way, the changes in my body with carnivore, because I used to be like mostly vegetarian and vegan, I suspect that probably a really good weight for me would be about 70 kilos or so. So if that's the case, I've still got 20 kilos to lose. So still quite a lot of weight and a lot of body fat. I've got way too much body fat and it needs to go. I have lipedema, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge, I guess, for my body to use the body fat, my body fat. So, but I know that if I can get things dialed into where I need them to be, it'll come off, but it's just finding what that is for me. And so I'm wondering if this whole AI thing might be able to help, or otherwise I'm just going to keep experimenting. So I've been doing a lower fat version of carnivore this month. I've spoken before, like I spoke in my last video, I've spoken before about my stress levels are a thing because of my bowel when it plays up, because it still plays up sometimes. I mean, it played up yesterday, but I suspect that yesterday it wasn't bad, but I just all of a sudden had to run to the toilet. It was really fast. It was like, whoo, go now. But I suspect that was because I had a small glass of gin the night before, and I don't normally drink these days, really. The last time I had a drink was my dad's 90th in March. But the reason I had the gin on Saturday was because I found out that a friend was about to pass away, a long-time friend, and that he had chosen to go then. So he's been sick for a while, and here in New Zealand, our government has made it so that people can choose, the same as they have in Canada. I'm not quite sure what I think about that, but I understand why he did it, and so he's gone now. So yeah, we had a drink. We sat in the sun and we had a drink for him. Yeah, I get emotional. I shouldn't have talked about that. So, all right. So, as I said, I'm going to fast for 3 days this week. And because of the bowel issues, I'm trying to settle myself down. Because of the bowel issues that are still off and on, congratulations to my dad for reaching 90. My dad is awesome. My dad is so good, and I have that longevity gene that I've inherited from him because I dig through my genetics, and I have that same gene that he does. I also have the MTHFR gene variations, the same as he does. He has slightly different to me, but he has 2 copies of the same one, whereas I have 1 copy of each. So I've inherited a bit of stuff from Dad. I've inherited a lot of stuff from Mum, I know. But yeah, my mum and dad are both good. My mum's in her 80s and my dad is 90. And Dad's been vegetarian for years. He is that? Oh no, I thought it was somebody else. Hey. So my dad was vegetarian. He started eating a vegetarian diet, crikey, probably close to 50 years ago, when I was a child. But in recent years, he's started eating fish. So he is pescatarian now, I guess, because he realised he needed more protein. So he tries to prioritise protein. Again, he actually said something last time I saw him about maybe trying some meat. And I said to him, because my mum was like, it'll make him sick. I said, no, if he goes really slow, his body will adapt to it again. Because he said he quite liked mince and potatoes, he said. So you never know. He might, I mean, my dad's always open to trying different things and doing different things to try and look after his health. He's always been very health conscious. And so, yeah, he's great. I mean, compared to a lot of other 90, I work on some 90-year-olds, in my business. I have a lot of older clients, and my dad is really pretty. My mum are pretty good. My mum and dad both are good. Because they eat a clean diet and they have done for years. They've always been, using different supplements and herbs and stuff like that, and their skin's good. That's one of the things that I see with a lot of older clients that are on a lot of pharmaceuticals, is that their skin gets really manky. It gets, they get all these little growthy things on them, and just their skin just goes really horrible on parts of their body. Whereas my mum and dad, they've got great skin. Both of them have got great skin. So yeah, they're doing really well. Now, what else? That's what I was going to talk about too. Was last week I spoke about using the Emotion Code book, and how I'd had some really good results with my mum, because she'd had a fall, and she's great now. So by the time I got over last weekend, I'd worked on her 3 days from a distance using the Emotion Code work, and she was about 90% better. Did a hands-on treatment, did some more Emotion Code work when I came back, and she's great. She messaged me, she's really good. She got my dad, the one issue my dad has is high blood pressure, and he's had problems with that for about probably 20 years, and he's tried all sorts of things. He keeps trying different supplements and things, but I know now, and I've explained to him, and he finally understands, I think, that it's insulin resistance. And so I've been trying to get him to have a blood insulin test, so we know where his insulin's at, and then we can judge whether what he's changing is working. But his blood pressure will suddenly, it'll be all right for a while, and then all of a sudden it'll scoot up really high, and he's was hospitalised a couple of times years ago when it first started happening. And he phoned the other night and his blood pressure was 220 over something. So I did some Emotion Code work on him straight away, and within an hour his blood pressure was down to 177. It was 172 the next day, and then the following day it was 160 over 70 something, I think. Yeah, something like that. I know it was 160 anyway, and his pulse rate was 62 beats a minute. So, I think that this Emotion Code work is really interesting, and I must do more. I haven't done any for a couple of days on myself and my husband. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Emotion Code is a book by Dr. Bradley Nelson. I'll try and remember to link to that under the video when I finish. Really interesting work, super simple to do. You can do it on yourself, you can do it on others, you can do it from a distance through quantum entanglement, and it just seems to get really, really good results. So very interesting. I've been working out too, like I am gradually getting back into more exercise. I'm a qualified gym instructor, group fitness trainer, owned a gym for a little while in Australia, and used to exercise like a mad woman. And then over the last 10 years since we've been back in New Zealand, that gradually reduced and came to a grinding halt. I did nothing for quite a few years because I had mold illness, had no energy. And so this journey, this last 3 years with the carnivore diet has been part of healing that. And So now that I'm so much better, I'm trying to, I feel like I've got to get closer to my phone because I've got no microphone in, but hopefully you can hear me. I am gradually getting back into doing some exercise, but I still find that I have periods where my energy's better than others. And so we've got some weights here, but not a whole lot. And I've decided just the last week or so to start using our suspension trainer. So we have a suspension trainer that I bought years ago. What happened was when we went back to Harvey Bay in Australia, where we lived after we'd been travelling around, the gym that we went to had these suspension trainers, and so I tried it, and I was quite fit then and quite strong, and I was quite impressed in how they actually worked. And so I bought one. No, I actually bought it before we went travelling. But anyway, I bought one and never really used it. But we've still got it. And so there's quite a few suspension trainer workouts on YouTube. So I've been doing a couple of beginner ones, and it's hard work. It's quite hard, but they're fantastic. If you don't know what they are, they're made from straps like, hang on, I've got my one here. So this is it. This is my suspension trainer. So they're made from straps, like the webbing kind of stuff, like a seatbelt in a car. And you can hook them onto a hook if you've got one somewhere up high, or you can use the end piece here to go over a door and close the door to anchor it. And then you can do all sorts of exercise with that resistance training, and also flexibility training as well. So it's a really good way of being able to increase your squat depth, a really good way of being able to kind of support yourself when you're doing something that you're not able to do without some kind of support. So like I've been working on doing deep squats, all right? So because have never been real flexible around my hips and stuff, and deep squats is the natural way that humans have always rested. So you look at people in Asia, they work like that, they'll work like that in the fields. Even the really old 90-year-olds, they're down on the ground squatting. All these traditional tribes, they squat, and it's really beneficial for all of our internal organs, really beneficial for our digestive system, our breathing, keeps our spine nice and straight. It's in the Western world, we've kind of been brought up sitting on chairs, and it's not good for us. It shortens our adductors, our hip flexors, and causes all sorts of problems in our spines and things. And so for me, in my 60s, I see my clients, my elderly clients, and the conditions that their bodies get into, and I don't want to be like that. And so this for me is I think about the things that we need to keep our bodies in good condition going forward, and so that is flexibility and strength. And so I decided to start using the suspension trainer because it's just a really good way of doing that. I think they have them probably on Amazon. I'll pop a link below so that you can. It's just a message from another friend. All right, so that you can check them out if you want to. They're quite cheap. I don't know what they cost these days. I think I paid maybe $40 or $80 for that when I bought it. But yeah, they work really well. And I've also been skipping. That's the other thing I've been doing is skipping 2 or 3 times a week because I haven't been sprinting, and the skipping's actually getting easier, not easier, better. My feet, I can feel I've got more spring in my feet when I'm skipping, and so that's getting easier. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about there. And the other thing that I was going to mention on this video is, if you're paying attention, you might notice that I have changed the name of my YouTube channel once again. I said last week that I was going to, and so it is now Beyond Carnivore. And the reason for that, I've been trying to find the right name because I started off as Carnivore with Sue, but I didn't want to have my channel just restricted to talking about the carnivore diet. While I was just sharing my journey and what I was going through, that was fine. But I have all of these others, I'm a bit like a magpie with information, and I have so many interests when it comes to health and fitness and anti-aging and stuff. And I'm always digging into other information. I have quite a lot of knowledge and understanding, on different topics around health. And so, and I love fermenting. Like, fermenting just gives me a buzz for some reason. I don't know whether I've done that in another life or whatever, but I just love fermenting stuff. And so I want to talk about all this stuff, And so my channel's gone from Carnivore with Sue, I think, to Living Carnivore, to almost carnivore. Now it's Beyond Carnivore. And the reason I chose Beyond Carnivore is because I'm realizing as time goes on that while a meat-based diet is a huge part of our health, and a carnivore diet really can heal people's bodies, and that my whole understanding about meat in the past was so completely wrong, and that's always going to be at this point, from my understanding, that's going to be a huge part of what I talk about. There's all these other things that are part of our health, and moving back towards a more ancestrally appropriate lifestyle, not just the diet, but the lifestyle, getting out in nature and spending time in the sun, and spending time with family and friends and community, and all of these things are all super, super important. Our whole circadian rhythms and our biology needs that. We need to get onto the ground and into nature and stuff, because we can eat as much meat as we want. If we're not doing those things, we're only going to get limited results. And I think that a lot of people, when they come onto a carnivore diet, just feel so much better. They think, it's like me, it's like I did. I thought I found the answer, and I was hoping it was going to be the answer to everything, but probably not. I think there's a whole lot more to it. And I think that looking at the way humans have lived in the past holds the keys to everything. Our microbiome relies on sunshine, and our microbiome controls a lot of what goes on in our bodies. Our mind affects our bodies, the water in our bodies. So I've been looking into stuff around water. Water is a fascinating subject. Do you know that water holds the vibrational energy of everything it comes into contact with throughout history? So that's how homeopathy works. So homeopathy, the remedies that are made in homeopathy contain none of the original substance, only the vibration, and the water holds that vibration. And so our bodies are made up of 70-80% water, maybe more. Not really sure. The science around that isn't complete, I don't think. That water that is in our bodies doesn't look like the water that comes out of our taps. It's like a gel, from my understanding. But our thinking and our words, everything that we are kind of focused on, changes that water in our bodies. And so the sunshine and this, there's so much to us and the way that we work, that it's more than just about meat. And so that's why I'm changing my channel to Beyond Carnivore, because all this stuff fascinates me, and I want to talk about it and I want to share it, because humanity is at a point in the world, in history, where people need information on how to be healthy. There are so many really sick, really unhealthy people around right now. It's sad. We went shopping the other day, and there was this child sitting in a trolley, and he was massive, and he had huge bits of fat hanging off the back of his legs. I'm quite sure he's probably been diagnosed with something. He didn't look like he's very old. Maybe, I don't know, he could have been 3 or 4. He might not have even been that. And you see other, adults that are like that as well. They're just so obese and so unhealthy, and their skin is just rotting and falling off them, and they don't have to be like that. And so the more of us that there are online sharing this information, sharing our stories, sharing thoughts and what we're learning, the better, because humanity needs this right now. The Maha movement is great, but it's not going to fix it. People need to take responsibility for themselves, to learn, to experiment. You know, this carnivore movement that's happening is fantastic, because it's creating something that allows people to really make change for themselves, and some people who have never done that before, you know. And so it's a great start, but it's not the end, you know. It's not the everything, and I think there's a whole lot more that needs to be learned and understood and revisited to actually get humanity kind of back to being healthy humans, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually, and able to have babies and not need IVF and all of these things. Because, you know, the road that they were taking us down, and this was purposeful, was to get people so sick and unhealthy that they couldn't breed and have babies and all the rest of it. And so, yeah, we need to reverse that, and the only way we can do it is ourselves, one person at a time, taking responsibility for ourselves, teaching our family, teaching our kids, sharing what we know, sharing our stories. And you know, humans have always told stories around a campfire. Sit around a campfire and tell stories. That's the way to go. All right, so does anyone, hang on, anyone have any comments or questions? Because I think that's about all I was going to talk about today. So we're 36 minutes in. I've got to go and phone a friend, and then I've got to go and have coffee with another friend. So yeah, if that's it, I think I'm going to go. I thank you very much for watching. I'm with my new channel. I'm trying to do things in a little bit of a different way. I'll probably keep doing these lives, but I am trying to make my videos more organized and more about giving information to people, rather than just talking about my journey, because that's what my channel has been up until now. And I've been trying to decide how to create that change, and so that's what I'm trying to do going forward. So yeah, so watch out for some changes, maybe. It's hard to break old habits, but yeah, that's what my plan is. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'm going to go and do my day. I haven't eaten yet, so I'm going to go and have something to eat. I'm going to phone my friend, and then I'm going to have coffee with my other friend. Okay, talk to you again another day. Bye. I'm not sure how to hang this up now, doing it on YouTube. Ooh. Maybe I just hit the X, do I? Yep. See ya.